right, guys, welcome back. We are so excited to be here. Just me and Paige hanging out.
Just us
having
girls.
our time together. I'm so excited. Welcome back to Mom's the Word.
Where mom knows best.
My name is Cyndi.
And my name's Paige. Hey, you didn't say our line.
I know I didn't.
I said where mom knows best.
Oh, my bad.
Or at least she's trying her best.
I've had a rough couple days,
You have. You really, really
I'm
have.
sorry. It didn't come to me as natural today.
How exhausted
Because
are you?
I've really been trying my best and I'm struggling.
I know that online, like the people that follow you on
Woo.
TikTok, they probably know you have had a new placement.
I have. We received another newborn placement. And
How
so
old?
itty bitty is what we call
Itty
her. And she is about a month now, but we've now had her for 4 weeks.
I
So
was gonna say you got her when she was like
Yes.
9 days old.
she's our 7th baby from the hospital. 6 or so. Yeah. Fox was our 6th baby. She's our 7th baby straight from the hospital. So, jumping into that with a 11-month-old now.
Literally.
And
How
a new
you feel.
baby. So 2 under 1. So I guess they call them Irish twins because, I'm doing twice the things, twice the bottles, twice the diapers, twice.
I can't imagine.
But you know what? It is such a joy. I love it so much. I love being a mom so much. But throwing yourself back into the newborn stage is really hard, especially because Fox sleeps through the night.
Literally, you just got out of it.
Yeah, and she was so small that she's up every 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been struggling. And
Been
then
struggling, tired, and then of course you had the adoption. You had a
Yes.
heavy plate for the past couple
I
of
think
weeks.
the last 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks have just been nonstop. Like
Yeah.
people coming and things happening, and it's been amazing, right? But it also is just heavy, overwhelming, and I want to share all the things with everybody because I'm excited, but I'm also very anxious, and
Right.
so it has just been wild.
Well, I know, just 2 episodes ago, we were announcing that we were keeping
Fox
Foxy
boy.
baby.
Yes.
How was the adoption process?
Yeah, so when we announced he was not adopted yet,
No,
but we had our adoption last week.
Yes, we did.
And it was wonderful. I was surrounded by amazing people. When I was sitting there, in the room with the adoption, I looked around thinking I thought I didn't have this village, and I do. It took me that moment to look around and be like, wow, I actually do have this village of people who love me and love my kids. How amazing is that? And also different. Everyone looks so different.
So different.
And how people support me differently has just been so amazing. But it was beautiful.
What'd
Oh
y'all
my
do?
God.
I know what you did,
Oh
but
my
I'm
God.
asking
so
for the
the
people that
adoption
don't
was
know.
beautiful, first of all. Okay. And I was holding it together, right? I was nervous the whole drive there. I cried. I talked to Jay, I talked to Paige, and then we're up there and my husband's bawling.
No, literally, y'all. They say it's almost like vows, kind
Yes.
of. They question
you get to swear
you.
in, you swear in, and
They question you things, and then they ask you, do you think that this child would be
in the best
in
interest.
the best interest of this child to stay in your home? And Chris went to answer, and he mouthed the words, but no sound came out, and he
was
started
crying.
and I lost. That's whenever I was like, oh.
So they ask me all these questions first after you swear in, and then they ask your husband.
Yeah.
And he couldn't even get through them, and his eyes were swelled up. And so here I am now. I'm crying. Everyone around me, I look around.
We're
Paige is
all
crying.
crying.
His mom's crying behind him. My mom, and it was beautiful.
It was
though.
so beautiful.
It felt really good.
Yeah.
And our little fox boy was just in the middle, wow, this is my
Just
family.
another day. Just hanging
It
out
was-
with the friends.
It was amazing. So I shared that, and it was really fun to share that part. Really special.
What
So.
did it feel like?
Oh man, I was scared.
Were you?
Yeah.
Were you nervous about the actual adoption process, sharing it?
No, I was confident in the adoption process. Fox is everything. He's everything. He's just beautiful, and my son. And I just can't explain it because he's just my son, and it was wonderful. But I was nervous to share because this is such a private part of my life, and people have seen part of him, right? But when a child's in foster care, I don't share their personality. I don't share their
Not
faces.
even their face.
No. And so being able for him to turn around and look at the camera was something to me that was, just so powerful, because that
Special
meant
moment.
that is my baby. And so it's hard because I didn't want to come off as insensitive, because I know of the heartbreak and the grief that the other part is going through.
Right.
That's not lost on me. And so I was nervous because here I am so freaking excited and with joy. But at
Right.
the end of the day, I cry because someone else is missing out now.
Yeah.
And that's heartbreaking.
It's a bit of both.
It is. And like, I didn't know how to portray that, and I didn't want to be disrespectful to anybody. And I wanted to do it in a beautiful way. I wanted to have him be a representative in our family in a beautiful way. And I think I did that.
I think you did.
I did. I've had a really great, response from family, friends, the internet, wonderful. And I am just filled with joy to share him.
Yeah.
He's
Oh my
just
gosh,
so
our little
sweet.
rocker skeleton family for Halloween. Cyndi is the girl that goes out and does every Halloween event in town.
I mean, every event in general.
That's true.
I'm going to be there.
That's true.
My family will be there. I just like to be out and about. I'll be that.
I'm just not that confident. I want to be. I'm just not that confident
It
when it
takes a
comes
long
to
time,
going
though.
out. That, and I mean, you want to go out and have fun memories, right? Like you're going out to
Yeah.
have fun, and sometimes kids aren't fun and they don't understand. If you sit here, you get this. They're like, F you, bro. I'm not sitting here. I'm going over there.
Literally. And it's still like that. I'm still like, Bear, come on, man. We brought you all the way over here.
Right.
And he'd be like, I won't do this. No, but most of the time it takes time. Like it takes doing it over and over again. And for me, because I have so many different faces in my home, sometimes we can't. I've had children who have higher needs than other children, and it's been very hard to do, like take them different places. So I'm trying my best to do so. And right now it's a little hard because I have a newborn. She'd just be chilling. She's either strapped to me or, my mom or whatnot. But I do like to get out. I am definitely...
The fact that you can leave the house with a newborn, an 11-month-old, and a 7-year-old is...
I've done this a long time. And I've said this quite a bit, you guys, that what I can handle is different than what you can handle. Every parent can handle a different amount. Like the ones who have like 7 kids... I know Ben behind the camera, he got a lot of kids.
We know Ben's got a lot of kids. Jay is somewhere in the studio. Jay's got a lot of kids.
And it's just what you can handle. If you can handle one, girl, 1 is enough. But for me, right now, 3 is enough.
It doesn't make you any less of a parent either.
No
if
way.
you can only handle 1 versus
No
7,
way.
you're still just as good of
And
a
there'll be
parent
different
as
seasons.
the rest of us.
Yeah, there'll be different seasons. Like right now, you have a hard time because you have a little one, you have, Boston who's 4 and just, all over the place. And as he grows, you're gonna be like, oh, now I can do this. Shoot, this is easy. It's just different seasons. You stay home in different seasons more than others.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact.
Yeah. And I mean, I have to hope with Boston that there will come a time where we can go into the public and it not be meltdown mode. Because, I mean, at times we're so different whenever he was a baby. I mean, he was born in June of 2019. So when he was 8 months old is whenever COVID really hit. And all of a sudden we were all in the house, which I mean, he didn't know, but I think it genuinely had a play in the effect of his development.
Yeah.
Because
a lot of
he
children,
wasn't around other kids.
Yes.
I mean, we were at home. I mean, Mark would go to work, but I was a stay-at-home mom.
Yep.
I was afraid to go out. I had this new baby. I was terrified of everything that they were saying. So, I mean, we were Amazon delivery
That's right.
for our groceries. I mean, I wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
So he wasn't either.
Yeah.
We were in the house.
You see that a lot with parents who are saying like, my child's behind, my child's not, where other kids are in school because they missed a couple years.
Yeah.
I think though, from my personal experience, that COVID ruined a lot of us. And when I say that, what I'm saying is before COVID, before this happened, I was so active. I was in mom groups. I was very social. Then it happened, and now I have a hard time. And I'm out a lot, right? You see that I'm out a lot. It took me a minute to get there because I was anxious. I had more anxiety taking my kids out. What could happen, And I think a lot of moms are struggling with that, getting out of that. Let's stay home.
Well, it made it easy to say
It
no.
does. Yes, it made it really easy.
It's so easy to say, sorry, we can't come.
It made the socializing harder, and not just for kids. I'm talking for adults. A lot of adults have anxiety now.
Yeah.
It just cost a lot. And I feel like moms are having a hard time getting out of the house now.
Heck yeah.
Because you're used to being in the house. It changed a lot.
It makes you feel comfortable there. You also feel safe. There's a lot of really dark shit happening in our world right now.
And your little house is protecting you guys,
Right. It feels like my little bubble.
Yeah.
It feels like every time you turn on the news, you see these horrible things happening at concerts, at schools, just every freaking where you go. And it's like, where is safe?
It feels so heavy.
It feels so heavy.
Yeah.
I just... And, as somebody who struggles with anxiety, of course, you tell yourself all those things are going to happen. So then you go into panic mode, and it's just like, is it worth the anxiety attack, or should we just stay home and turn on the movie?
Right. No, I get it.
That's how it's starting to feel.
I go through that still. I try to be very social and tell my friends you can do it, but it is hard. I feel like as moms, we are there to protect our children. And if you stay home and, keep your bubble, you're protecting them. it's just hard. Then you feel guilt. We're like, well, I didn't take them out today.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Yeah, then there's the guilt of all that. It's a never-ending circle.
my
You really
goodness.
can't do right as a parent. At the end of the day, you will guilt yourself for some
Literally.
reason. So if you're out there kicking
Literally.
yourself, you're doing your best.
Literally.
You're doing your best.
It's actually something that I want to tell Paige, is that you're a really great mom.
Oh, thanks.
And that I think sometimes...
Trying to make me cry.
No, I'm not trying to. It's something that I just want to say because I talk to Paige every day and I hear her emotions every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you doubt yourself in motherhood a lot. And I think a lot of other moms also doubt themselves in motherhood, but you're a really great mom. And I don't think people see that as much because you protect your kids a lot.
Yeah.
All of them. And so the guilt that you have for certain things, I think it's because you overcame a childhood that was hard and now you want to protect them, and your kids deal with certain things and you want to protect that from people. And I just think that you're really doing a great job, and it's really hard, and these kids are here for you. Like
Thanks,
you're
man. You are too. You're constantly doing a good job, and you always build me up. It's crazy because I think to myself, you have such a heavier load than me, with as many little babies that you have, and you're just still always so on and so positive. And plus, you hate to be the friend that is always fucking sad. I hate to be the friend that is always sad.
Yeah.
To get the text messages, "How are you doing today?" And you just want to say, "I'm fine, doing good, everything's better today." But it's not.
Yeah.
But it's still dark. But I'm still hurting. But I still feel weird. I was okay a few hours ago, and now I'm on the floor telling myself that I'm not, a good enough mom, or that I'm not doing enough. You know, that's real time. It happens in one day, and I can go from feeling like, okay, I've got this, to feeling like, ooh, this is just really, really heavy, and this is really hard. And I hate to be the friend that is constantly sad.
Yeah.
Like you told me this morning, whenever you were struggling with your anxiety, I was like, oh, dude, like that breaks my heart to hear that you're struggling. You were like, yeah, well, it kills me that you're struggling too. I was like, yeah, but I'm always struggling. Like, you're not. Like, I'm always in this. So it just makes you feel so different. But I haven't always been like this.
No.
And I keep telling myself that, like, there is a version of me that existed that was really happy in motherhood.
Yeah.
I think I just put so much guilt and fear on myself.
Yes. I agree.
It's become a little out of control in the last probably 8 months. I'm going to say probably about a month before Juliet was born.
Yeah.
It just got really hard, and it got really dark. And then having her was difficult. She was in the NICU, trying to adjust from 1 to 2.
Yeah.
And then just like all the things that are happening in my world that I've not talked about, that I've not shared, because I have a lot going on.
You do.
You know, like a lot. And
You do.
it makes me emotional to even think about it, but I feel like I'm ready to talk about it, even though I'm nervous.
So me and Paige have had this conversation many times.
Yeah,
behind the
because I feel
scenes
like I'm...
of things that we talk about as friends and as mothers and support that I would never bring up until she was ready for it.
Yeah.
And lately...
And honestly, I didn't think I would. There was a part of me that was like, I'm just going to hold this in forever, and I'll never say it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, like, there's been times where I'll just comment it. Somebody will say something, and I'll just comment.
Yeah.
And then I'll delete it. And I'll be like, no, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I hope at least that I can help someone else who's dealing with this, even though I'm scared of the, hell, I'm not even scared of what people think of me. I'm scared because I want to protect my child.
Mm-hmm. Which is what you do.
Yeah, because you can't protect them from other people's
That's
opinions. And unfortunately, being someone who's online, people think they're entitled to share those opinions with you because you share your life online. So you should be equipped to hear the shitty things that people have to think about you. And that just cannot be acceptable.
No.
I'm sorry, but I don't care if you upload your life online. If I disagree with you or I dislike you, it's as easy as scrolling on or blocking you so that I don't have to expose myself to you. But no way in hell am I going to dedicate my time to making you aware of my dislike for literally every single part of who you are.
Yeah.
And just to rip somebody apart in this stage of motherhood too.
Yeah.
I'm freshly postpartum.
Yes.
And I have a lot on my plate.
Yes.
So I was not ready to talk about it.
Which is fair.
Because I was so afraid of the judgment and also, I think I'm digesting it.
Yeah.
I think it's not an easy thing to hear.
Yeah.
But so a week before Juliet was born, I was 36 weeks pregnant. I had her at 37 weeks because of hypertension. My blood pressure was very, very high. I was very close to being preeclamptic. So they went ahead and induced me. And the week before, they actually called me while I was in labor to let me know that they had a spot for him. And I had to say, and they laugh about it now. The people that I'm around, they say, like, she literally answered the phone and was like, I'm having a baby. Sorry, can I call you back? It was quite literally in the thick of having a child. Boston was diagnosed with autism. And
that was big to say.
Yeah. Yeah. So I shared his journey at his 2-year appointment when, and I had no idea, but his pediatrician asked me, is he saying 50 words or more? And I said, 50? No, 50. Oh, God, that seems like so much. He maybe says 4 or 5. And she said, well, usually at about this age, we would expect to see around 50 to 200 words. And I was like, oh, certainly not. We're not at that point.
Yeah.
So she said, okay, well, what you can do is like an early intervention. We can get him placed into speech therapy, and that could help, immensely. Maybe even consider a school. Maybe he should go to like a daycare of sorts for just like one day, a few hours out of the day.
Yeah.
I was a stay-at-home mom, and of course he had not been socialized.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I immediately enrolled him into speech therapy. He was doing speech therapy weekly, and he went to a Montessori school for about 2 months. And then literally every day that we would pull into this Montessori school, he would start to cry as we pulled into the actual parking lot itself. I would go to unbuckle him, and he would cling at my fingers and push my hands away. Like, no, I don't want to go. And I can remember now his teacher saying, he doesn't really want to play with the other kids. He kind of just sits by himself. And I thought, oh, well, maybe he's just getting used to being around other kids. Yeah. And now in my head, I think, oh, well, that was a sign, And there's so many things that you miss in those moments.
Well, back then, you don't want to think something's wrong with your child.
No,
you
and
just
I'm also a new mom.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah.
What am I comparing it to?
Right.
I've never seen another child.
Right.
But he would do certain things. So he did speech therapy, and then after the whole Montessori situation and just watching him genuinely break down and not want to go.
Yeah.
There was a mass shooting that happened at a smaller school.
Yes.
Around that time, and I was like,
pull him out.
Everything in my world is telling me to pull him out. He's telling me to.
Yeah.
The news is telling me to. So I pulled him.
Yeah.
And he stayed home with me, and we did speech therapy instead.
Yeah.
And his pediatrician at his 3-year checkup was like, he's looking great. Everything's good. Speech therapy's going great, But have you noticed maybe his hearing is off? He had chronic ear infections, just like over and over and over. But we had never had 5 in 1 year on the books.
Okay.
We had treated more than that.
Yeah.
But we had never had 5 on the actual books. So she said, I really think you should see an ENT for his ears. But unfortunately, in the state of Texas, for your insurance, we have to have 5 ear infections on record to be able to give you that recommendation. So it's covered by insurance. So that was very easy to do. Within a couple of months, he had 5 ear infections, and we were sent to an ENT. And that ENT said his eardrums are vibrating under 50%.
Oh, wow.
And they were like, there's just so much fluid, so much going on. His speech delay is directly related to him not being able to hear. And I was like, okay. It
was something solving the problem. Yes.
It was a resolution.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, my aunt, both her parents were deaf. And so I went to her and was like, can we, talk sign language?
Yeah.
What do I do? Is this something that you see? And she was like, yeah, everything that he does plays, very similarly to children who are deaf.
Yeah.
Like he would hum whenever he was doing certain things, he would start humming. And I asked, his doctor about it. And they said, well, he probably hasn't ever been able to feel that vibration in his ears because of all of the fluid. So it probably just feels soothing and comforting to him. It's a new sound. But there was something about it that I was just like, I don't know. It's only in certain situations that he does it. And it feels like he's drowning out everybody.
Yeah.
And then he got real into cars at 3, and he would line them up all in one straight line.
Yeah.
And I remember somebody saying, well, that's not a big deal as long as if you take it out, does he get upset?
Yeah.
And he didn't. He wouldn't get upset. He wouldn't throw a tantrum. He didn't show any other sign to me that he was in distress. So when I continued the speech therapy and he was saying more things, but not a lot of things, I just started to have questions in my mind of there must be something more that's going on.
Yeah.
And his pediatrician and his speech therapist would just reassure me over and over again. Have you ever heard a 1-year-old talk in full sentences?
Right.
His ears are only 1 year old, this, the other.
Yeah.
And I could just feel something
You
was
just
off.
felt, yeah.
And so I requested that he be given a test. I believe it's called the MCAT. It's MCHAT, something to that. I'm sure I'll get devoured for not knowing the exact, but it was a stressful time.
It's a lot to process, yes.
They did an exam on him, basically. It's like a 30 to 40 minute evaluation of like different forms of play and communication and such like that. And then they said, okay, it's going to take about 3 to 4 days to process this, and then your pediatrician will call you.
Yeah.
That's the worst 3 to 4 days sitting there waiting, thinking.
I bet.
And I can remember thinking, he did so well.
I was literally going to say that. I talked to you.
And I was like, there's no way.
Because even when you would tell me about it, you kind of would downplay it, right?
Big
You'd be
time.
like, oh, they're just going to test him. And then when it happened, you're like, oh, he did so good.
He did so
Like, he was talking, he was
good.
making eye contact. And even I was like, okay.
I mean, like
yes.
me and Mark walked out of that appointment and we were like, there's no way that they're going to say he has autism. If that's what they're scheduled. Like, if this is what they're testing him on, he passed with flying colors, And no. And his pediatrician called me and she said, do you have a second to talk about Boston's diagnosis? And I said,
You heard that word.
His diagnosis. And she said, yes, after his evaluation, he has autism. And when you hear that as a parent,
that feel like?
It's so confusing, right? Because I don't give a shit that my child has autism. I don't care. I love him despite. It doesn't change anything for me.
Yeah.
But there is so much guilt and pain in that diagnosis because the first thing you think is this my fault? Did something happen while I was pregnant?
Yeah.
Did I not drink enough water? Did
You're
I
trying to justify.
expose myself to environmental things?
Yeah.
You literally just go through a million different what happened. And you blame yourself. It really feels like it's all on you.
Yeah.
And then there's the fear of what is his life going to be like?
Right.
What does it look like now? Will he be independent? Will he need me forever? Will he have a girlfriend? Will he ever play a sport?
Yeah.
Well, just those things that you don't think of.
Yeah.
For a child, it's just so normal. All of a sudden, there's just so many wonders of
changes
will
everything.
they have that experience?
Right.
Of all these things that you dream of for them when you meet them, Will they get that part of life?
Yeah.
And then on top of it, there's the how do I protect him from people who are so freaking mean?
Yeah.
From people who are going to look at him like he's less, from people who are going to have horrible things to say about a child. I just, for so long, that's why I didn't want to share.
Yeah.
Because I just want to protect my child. And I don't want him to be looked at like he's less.
Don't want to label him.
No.
Right.
Because he's more than that diagnosis. He's smart. He can put a puzzle together, a jigsaw puzzle.
So kind.
Under 2 minutes. So kind, so loving. God forbid a baby comes around and he's going to kiss that baby
so
immediately.
Sweet. He is.
So sweet. Thriving.
Yes.
Thriving.
Oh, yes.
I mean, it's just doing so well. We did seek therapy for him to help him with his speech.
Yeah.
So that communication can be stronger for him.
Oh my God, and he's doing so good.
He's doing so
Be
good.
like, hi, Cyndi.
Hi, Cyndi. Hi, friend. Hi, babe.
We were sitting on the bed this morning. He goes, what's going on in here?
What's going on here?
So cute.
And he doesn't say a lot of sentences. So when he comes in and says stuff like that, it's just so special.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that he's just so special to me. I mean, hell, to be saying it out loud here is huge.
I know.
I didn't tell you for months. I didn't even tell. When we got the diagnosis, I told Mark, I don't want to tell anybody. I don't want your parents to know. I don't want my friends to know. I think we just carry on as we've been.
Yeah.
He's in therapy, and that's just the way that it is. I'm just not ready to talk about this out loud. And good Lord, Stephen, you're calling me in the middle of a very serious moment. Declining your call. It's just, it was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard to swallow, being that I was also having a new baby who was then sent to the NICU. And then I'm looking at her in every single milestone that she is hitting and wondering and worrying and fearful.
Comparing to Boston, probably.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Was he hitting this? Was she hitting this? Like, makes your anxiety even higher than it already was.
Yeah, it was not easy. I mean, I broke down to my mom probably the week I had Juliet. I broke down to her about it as I was just so postpartum. Oh, sweet broken girl whose baby was in the NICU and then whose other baby was diagnosed with a very heavy diagnosis. I was just so broken.
Yeah.
And then, and I hate to say this, but in a way embarrassed to say it out loud because I was not worried of what they'd think about him, but more worried that they'd be like, oh, what's wrong with you? Because that's something that people do because genetics can play, into it.
Which, what a shame that is, too.
I mean, and then there's the factor of my husband, who I worry people will be mean to because
you already have an autistic son.
We have 2 children with autism. And, he was hard on himself whenever we first got the diagnosis. He was like, I'm so sorry. It was my fault. It had to have been my fault. It's just so hard to navigate as a parent. And I think that there are so many people online that are pushing autism acceptance.
Yeah.
And I agree.
Yeah.
100%. But there is a side of an autism diagnosis that's just not represented there.
Yeah.
Where you hear that and you're not happy.
Yeah.
You're not thrilled. It's not exciting. It's freaking sad.
Yeah.
And it's confusing and it's scary and it's all these emotions of, okay, now what? How do I help them? How do I protect them? How do I help them thrive? There's just so many things that go into it. And if you're a mom that's like just beating yourself up with the worry of what did I do? How do I manage this? How do I survive this? How do I help them? How do I protect them? I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is. And there are so many people that we see online that are in the thick of acceptance where their children are older. Yeah. Because I do feel that way about Dylan, where, we just accept Dylan, as he is and love him, and it's no big deal. And we do the same for Boston, but I didn't have to process these emotions with Dylan. Yeah. Dylan, I was introduced to him, and
that's who he was.
He had autism.
Yes,
that was just who he is. And it was, no big deal. Yeah. I watched Boston develop for 4 years and didn't see it right away. Right. And so I think there is a lot of guilt there as a mother to think, should I have noticed earlier? Should I have seen it sooner? Was I, too focused on myself during that period?
I don't think so. I don't think it's something that you want to happen. You don't want to look for it. And I feel like a lot of denial is in that because you don't want nothing to be wrong with your child. You just don't. And I think it's absolutely normal for you to not want to see things that could possibly be wrong, because it's hard. It is a hard thing to go through.
And I knew that I had to push to do the testing on it, even though I wasn't ready for the diagnosis. Yeah. Because he was getting older.
Yeah. You were so proactive.
I just want him to thrive. I don't want kids to make fun of him. Kids are freaking mean. Yeah. Kids can be so mean because they don't understand the weight of their words, and they don't understand differences in people, and they only see one thing, and they've not gone through life yet. So they just don't understand that bad shit happens to every single person. Right. And when you're a kid, you just kind of think, oh, well, that kid goes through the harder stuff, I just don't want that. You know how when we grew up, they would have special education classes. Yeah. And they would be separate from everybody. They would have to sit separately from people. They had different lunch times in their own lunchroom. I mean, it was like they were like labeled the bad kids almost.
They were different.
Yes. Yeah. I don't want that for my child.
No.
I don't want people to look at him and think he's different.
That's right.
I want them to think he's brilliant because he is. I want them to think that he's kind because he is. I don't want the first thing you see when you see my child is his diagnosis, because it doesn't define him.
No.
It doesn't even play any part of who he actually is.
Right.
His personality is so separate from his autism.
Yeah.
And who knows what it will look like as we move forward. They've told us that he probably will not display much as an older child, and that you would have to tell people, because they do say that it's mild. Who knows what that even means?
Right.
So,
yeah.
And that's another thing, is that in the autism community, they don't like it when you say your child is autistic. You have to say your child has autism.
Okay.
And they don't like it when you say certain things, just all sorts of things. What were you just saying? There was something specific that you said. I don't know. It's gone. The thought is gone. But nevertheless, there's just so many different things.
Yeah.
Like, they don't like the blue puzzle piece. Some of them don't like the blue Halloween bucket. There's just so much judgment inside of this community too. And I'm just a mom trying to figure it out for myself and for my child.
Yeah.
To have so many people be like, well, you shouldn't say this. Is just,
which
frankly,
is why it's scary
super
to share.
Silly. Yes.
Yeah, because you're learning.
Yeah.
I'm learning. I know nothing about children with autism. I'm learning from you. I've learned so much, and you're learning. And so people coming to you and, like, speaking down on what you know is really sad, instead of encouraging you, because you're a new mom to this.
And we all started somewhere.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Once upon a time, you had just heard the diagnosis as well and didn't know all the ins and outs and the things that make people feel more comfortable. And frankly, I'm not here to make you feel more comfortable about my child's diagnosis.
That's right.
That's not my job. I'm here to protect my child and to make him feel comfortable. And if he doesn't give a shit,
that's right.
I don't give a shit. And that's just where I'm at with it. As much as it's heavy and it's hard, I don't care.
Yeah. I think that's why you were ready to share, because you had to take it in.
Yeah.
You had to, be okay with it.
Yeah,
you had to see him start thriving, because, oh my God, he's just doing amazing. And I think it took telling people around you, get their reaction. You needed to fill it out. You did. It's a whole new, adventure you're going on in life. And I hate to say that, but you know what I mean? Like, you've done so amazing. Like, once you heard it and you were able to talk about it, you have put into him so much. Like, you guys gave him everything that he needs and more. Like, oh my God, if you're around Paige, the way she just talks with him, and like, oh, it's just so wonderful.
I've done a lot of Googling on what you should do. I think we all spend a lot of time on Google and parenthood. It's just, I'm his mom.
I think you sharing is just so important, Paige, because, holding on to things is hard. It took her a couple months, I think, to tell me and some of her friends.
Oh, yeah. It took me about 5 months to tell you.
Yeah. And she felt bad about telling me. Like, she was like, I
had to text you.
Yeah.
Because I can't say it out loud to the people that I love, to my actual friends and family. She
apologized to me for not telling. And I'm like,
I was like, I'm
that's
sorry,
not
I kept
something
this
you
from
need to apologize about. Things are heavy. And it's hard. You need to cope with it first, and especially things with our kids. We want to protect them so much.
Yeah.
But I think that more people are gonna, relate to you. And the parents, with children who are autistic. I hope I said that right. I'm learning.
Who have autism
are gonna respect that, I believe. And it's hard for you. I know that this has been, something.
When I hope that they won't be judgy. Yes. Because everybody has a different experience as they accept it and hear it too. Yeah. Everybody goes through different things. And even as someone who has a child with autism, it was a shock for me to hear that and to process it and to think, what will life be like? And if you cry, it's okay.
That's right.
It's okay. I sobbed. I still cry. When I talk about it, I cry because he's my child. And you want your child to be the best damn athlete, best, the valedictorian. You want them to thrive in every single corner of life. Yeah. And when you're told they may have some, things that they have to hurdle over, they might have some things in front of them that are going to make things more difficult. You want to bust those fucking barriers down. Right. You want to take it down so that you can, pave this life for them that is easier than the one that you had. And when someone looks at you and says, you can't, you can't fix this for them. You can't make this easier. You can literally only give them the tools and hope that it helps. That can be so defeating as a parent because you feel like your one job is to help them.
That's right.
And when you feel like you can't and there's only
You're
so
helpless.
much, you're helpless.
You're helpless.
And it put me in a really, really dark place because I went from, why didn't I see it, to, well, I did and I didn't want to accept it, to, I heard it and I still don't want to accept it. And you just look at your child and you think, was this my fault? Did I fail you somehow? And that it sucks that that's the reality of it. And it might not be for every parent.
Yeah.
But it was for me.
Yeah.
I cried. I got depressed. I got worried. Then somebody on my freaking TikTok made a comment about my daughter's head.
Oh my goodness.
Saying that her head was too small.
Yes.
Y'all have literally messed me up for months and had no idea. Yeah. I measure my child's head every day. Yeah. Every single day, to the point her pediatrician follows me on Instagram. Yeah. And she was like, you gotta stop. Yeah. It's okay. She's, these things that they're saying are not true. But I'm so worried. Yeah. Because I just gone through that.
Now you're looking for every sign, though.
Hell yeah.
Now you're picking apart every single thing. Everything. Which is not normal.
I know.
Like, I've told Paige this, and it's not normal to do that. Like, I'm telling her, I'm like, your baby is beautiful. Your baby is normal. Your baby is thriving. And she will sit there and tell me, like, yeah, but look at this. Look at this. And I'm just like, no, it's not normal to have these feelings.
Yeah. I just feel like the sky is falling all the time. I think I've been fucked with so much in life that I'm just like, it's never going to end. I feel like I'm never going to get out of it. And I think that I thought I was with Mark, right? Because I met this man and he was just everything that I ever wanted and I'd ever dreamed of. And he still is, y'all. He's my best friend. But it didn't make all the crazies go away. Yeah. It didn't make all the sad feelings and the abandonment issues and all the things that I have. I mean, I feel like every year life has just smacked me one way or another. Yeah. And it just feels like it's freaking always something. There's always something going on and I'm just tired.
Like you're anticipating the next thing to go wrong.
Yeah.
And that stems from your childhood, that stems, from your adolescence, that you're looking for the next thing that's going to happen. And it's unfortunate that that's where your mind goes. You can't be glass full. You're glass empty because you're like, well, it's going to happen regardless. I've done this my whole life. I'm going to continue to do this my whole life, when that's not the truth.
I hope
you are the best mom. Like, I think you're seeing the negative, right? Or you're putting a lot of pressure on you. But I think from the outside, people can see that, like, you're a great mom. You're a great wife. You're trying your best, which is our whole thing here. And you have gave Boston so much once you figured out, what's going on. And I think that you're doing worse than you are. And
I mean, better
than you are. Thank you so much.
I'm doing worse.
I mean, you think you're doing worse than you are.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not in your mind. I can't pull you out of those types of things, but from the outside, like, you're doing a really good job. And I hope that you get through this dark place, because man, those babies are beautiful and you're a beautiful person. And
they deserve a happy mom, is what I keep trying to tell myself, is that they deserve a mom that's not constantly worried and fearful, because I also don't want to put that fear in them. Yeah. I don't want them to grow up thinking of all the danger that there is because mommy points it out.
Yes.
And so I have to shield them from the things that make me scared or anxious. They say, like, don't tell your kids be careful. Yeah. Because, you should just let them learn on their own type thing. I'm not that mom. I'm like, hey, honey, you're a little close to that ledge there. You're going to fall off and break your face. Please don't.
She's thinking of the worst thing.
I see it in my brain. That's the biggest thing, is with my OCD, I can picture it happening and it will replay until I stop that from happening. Yeah. And I just won't be able to get out of it. I just suck myself into this dark hole. Yeah. And so I'm trying. A lot of people have written into the podcast and not requested, but suggested different things, from like SSRIs, talking to my therapist, different things. Trust me, guys, behind the scenes, I'm doing
I was going to say that just now, because I bet people are wondering, like, you guys, I have told Paige to let's go see a doctor. What do we need to do here? Yeah. So we are working with Paige.
Yeah,
definitely. It's just hard,
It's just a process too. It doesn't, I can't flip a switch. I didn't decide okay, I'm in a dark place and I need some help, and I reached out to somebody and it's magically all better. Like, it's not. It's taking a little while, and that's okay. It's going to take a little while. I just have to process it and feel it and move on from it.
Yes. And she's surrounded by people who...
Yes, I have a good village. I do. I have people who care about me in my life.
And we don't get tired of her telling us. I would never get tired of her telling me, well, literally voice memoing at 4 a.m.
Listen, y'all. Okay, so Ben will tell you I lost my camera. I lost my camera, and we were one day from podcast shooting, and I had to text him, and he was like, okay, well, maybe you're fired tomorrow, but
she should have said I lost it. And we're like,
I was like, I can't find it anywhere. So I'm looking for this camera, and I swear I wake up out of a dead of sleep at like 4:30, and I was like, it's in your pink and white bag. And it sure was. So I ran to my pink and white bag at 4:30, and then I sent Cyndi a voice
so here
memo.
I am popping up on my phone. I'm like, who is messaging me at 4 a.m? She's like all positive. Hello, it's 4 a.m. Like, I found my camera.
I found my camera.
And then she's like, and I'm really anxious
about choking. So I had to go to my car to get my choking device.
I got my choking device now, so don't worry. My anxiety's gone. I'm like, no, she did not have to go get her choking device. And she knows that that's literally the one thing that I have so much anxiety about. So I was like, good for her.
Yeah, you were so supportive.
I'm like, yeah, she needs it. And so
that's what's on my Christmas list for you this
I literally
year
need it.
to
I
get
literally
you
need
one
it.
of those. I knew you'd love it.
That is like one of my biggest triggers is choking on kids. I am so terrified.
It's terrifying.
But it's just funny because then she texts me and I was struggling.
Yeah.
And people don't know this. I don't share on the internet that I struggle with anxiety pretty bad. And it's different than other people's anxiety. But I was struggling last night. Like I couldn't fall asleep. I was thinking of things happening. And so she's telling me, and so I message her back. I'm like, oh, that's great, but like, I had a really rough night.
Me too.
And then I felt bad because I'm like, wait, did I just overstep her? And then she was like, I was like, I'm sorry, did I just overstep that you were anxious because I'm anxious?
Literally.
And she's like, no. That's when she was like, well, I'm always anxious.
I'm always anxious. No, that's a thing though. Like people think like when you're sharing things about your life and you're like, oh my God, I've been through that too. You're like trying to one up or you're trying to invalidate their story. And I'm not that friend. I literally just say it so that you'll feel more comfortable to hear like, so that you know, like, hey, I'm not judging you. I've been through the same thing. That's so freaking painful. That's so hard.
It's just hard because
I
like I've been in friendships where that's how it had felt. Like, like they're venting to me and I'm like, oh, well, I have that experience. And they took it as, oh, well, like she always has this problem too. So I'm like, I try really hard to listen and respond and not tell my side. But with Paige, we aren't that type no more. I'm like,
we ain't got that friendship.
I'm glad you found the choking
device. Tell me
what
you got going on. Yeah.
But I'm stressed.
That's so great. I'm so happy for you.
It was just so funny how she was like, I got my choking device.
4:30 in the morning. I literally woke up and was like, okay, my camera's in my pink and white bag, but where is my choking device? Because God forbid. And if you're listening to this going, what device is she talking about? There's a device I found on Amazon that's basically like a throat plunger.
Oh my God.
And it's saved a lot of people, like a lot of children and adults.
I did CPR training last week again, and the guy showed it, and it has saved so many people. It literally pops out the dang thing.
Sucks that bad boy. I keep it in my car because my car is
why don't I have one? I don't know.
You need one. You definitely need
I literally, you guys will see a kid with something in their mouth, and all I think about is them choking.
Yeah.
Like Boston had like oranges, and he's great, guys. He's big.
He's 4. I mean, he's got all his teeth.
No problem at all. But all I'm thinking about is like, oh my God, I take off the strings of them, and she didn't do that. And so and I'm like, oh, he's fine. I know he's fine. And I did it to Jay too. I think it was last week. They gave one of their kids who's again old enough, like a tomato, and I'm like, okay, you got to watch her. And it's just like something I can't get rid of, and I don't know why. But
everybody has their quirks, right?
Oh my goodness.
Mine's the pool. I can't with the pool. I hate the freaking pool. Can I just give you all one word of advice from someone who is living the hashtag American dream? Don't do it. Don't do it. The house is too damn big. You have to clean the whole thing, you know? Like, no, it doesn't magically clean itself. Like, you have to clean the whole house every week.
A pool man's expensive.
Oh my gosh. Have you ever tried to do it yourself?
It doesn't work.
It's so hard. You ready to turn the pool green?
No, but
people are peeing in it.
We're very thankful, but guys,
it's so expensive. It's just not worth it. I would take a 1-story house with a grass backyard immediately.
You know, you like learn from your starter home, right? Like our home we're now, we're like, we know exactly what we want in our next one.
Right.
The pool sounded great. No way. The upkeep was expensive in Texas. No way.
And it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's a pit
in the middle of summer. I'm not getting
terror.
in there. Yeah. So anyways, we digress.
Yeah.
So we have a really fun little series though that we want to do.
Oh
This is
my
really
God.
fun.
I'm so excited about
Yeah.
this. We
So
had somebody write in, look at
Yeah.
Ben's face. Ben, you're about to be shooketh.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that's read this story. Just
I
to
didn't
be
wanna know.
clear, Cyndi did not want to hear it
Yes.
because she was like, I gotta be.
So like every couple
shocked.
episodes we're gonna do where you guys can write in, and you can just write into Instagram or Mom's Lord Podcast,
Yeah.
our email address, which is in our Instagram, and we will read your story and react to it. So Paige got our first one, and
This
we're
is
really excited.
hilarious. Oh my God. I
is
mean,
a great-
it's horrible. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. This is so
This is a
shitty.
great way to like boost to positive, make this positive. Look at her. I'm like, great. What is it?
All right, let's get
Here
out
we
of
go.
this funk here for a second.
Yeah.
Let's talk shit about others. Men, to be exact.
Let's hear it.
Okay, ready?
Ready.
It says, girls,
Ooh.
girls, do I have a story time for y'all?
Spill
Let
the
me
tea.
start by saying I'm a single mother to a little girl. Her father was very abusive, and so I'm extremely picky when it comes to the men that I date and allow around her and in my life. Rightfully so, sister. I can't blame you.
Preach.
My best friend introduced me to one of her friends via FaceTime, and it was instant chemistry.
Okay.
We went on a date, and then we were kind of on and off again for 2 years with understanding that we're just having fun, but that we liked each other. During the last year, things started to get serious. So he took me to this special lake, quote unquote, so I'm assuming it's special to him.
Okay.
We laid in a pallet on the dock looking up at the stars.
Oh, romantic.
It's so romantic.
Yes.
He told me that he was falling in love with me. He wanted to be a fatherly figure in my daughter's life, that he understood we were a package deal, and he wanted nothing more than to fulfill that role
Well, that
in
sounds
both of our
wonderful.
lives. Right.
Great.
Tell me why. This man, a few short weeks later, sends me a photo. This is so fucked up. Sends me a photo. What? Of a pair of worn down white, maybe tannish pink underwear draped on his headboard like a trophy, and says, "Oh, so now you're marking your territory," with a winky face. What? Excuse me, sir. What? At that point, I couldn't let him know that I was fizzing with anger, even though we had just decided to take our relationship to the next step with this storybook romantic night where he has stated how profoundly in love with me he is.
Did he take your panties?
You're marking your territory. First of all, it's her territory if y'all are dating. At that point, you're
literally.
together.
Next level.
What could you possibly mean? Now you're marking your territory. She says, "Motherfucker, I thought we just did that mutually," which is hilarious to me. So I text back, "Well, someone clearly is, but it ain't me." He responds, "What do you mean?" And I can tell he's doing the mental math, heart and asshole, lump in throat, got the mouth sweats, reconsidering whose fucking underwear that is that he just sent me. He's just professed his love to me. I'm like, "Those aren't my panties." And all he had to say back was, "Oh." "Yeah, buddy. Oh is damn right. What do you mean? Oh, this is partly my fault for believing a man with commitment issues could ever mean it when he told me that he was ready to commit, but like, question mark, how many women am I sharing you with? Can't even keep up with the panties that are draped on your headboard."
Oh my God.
I learned more about that man just by that text than I ever had in the few years that we'd been together. I didn't speak to him from that point till years later at my best friend's wedding when he introduced me to the girl with the panties.
Oh my God.
But that's a whole different story for a different time.
Stop it right now.
First of all, you deserve better.
Bro, men are weird. Who's going to send a picture?
Can you imagine? You get a picture of somebody
Oh, they probably were
else's
dirty
drawers.
panties.
She said they were white.
Okay,
She
good.
said worn down, white, pinkish, tannish panties draped across your headboard, and with such confidence.
I hope we never talk to. You should never
I
talk to him
hope
again.
you never talk to him again. I would have posted it on Facebook. No, I wouldn't have. Maybe I would have.
Oh my God. Not the picture. I wish she sent us the picture.
I wish we had the photo too.
Well, girl.
Can you imagine being a single mom? First of all, somebody has just come into your life and they're like, "Hey, I get
Romantic?
it." On a dock?
On a dog.
Like,
We just rocked the dock, and you're showing me some.
What I was
You're showing me some
Did we
panties that aren't
rock the
mine.
dock and there's undies that ain't even
So I thought you were gonna say he took them, and I was like, that's even weirder too.
Honestly,
Please don't
if
tell
a
me.
man took my underwear, I wouldn't be as upset. If we're dating and they were like, I stole your undies because they're nice,
Look.
girl. You know, I don't think I'd be as upset as
As
you've
a
got a
random
whole
panties?
other woman's underwear on your
I
headboard.
just say she dodged a bullet there.
And then to think that just the confidence, the sheer confidence of this man.
Marking
to
your
send-
territory.
Oh, and I bet he thought he was being sexy.
So
He's
sexy.
probably like, come over here and show me what you got. And she was like, those are not mine.
Like, I wonder if he like picked him up, like, oh yeah, she left them here. Let me hang them on there.
Oh no.
Marking your territory, I'm gonna leave him here.
Marking your territory. That's just cringe to me in every way. And it makes me so thankful that I'm not in the dating pool because
She dodged a bullet with that
my
one.
God. Yeah, don't ever talk to that douchebag again.
No.
Literally. I would have told that girl, like, hey, I would have been like, hi, it's so
Oh
nice
my
to meet you. I've met your panties.
That would have been. That was payback, though. Like,
Ultimately, you know, he had to be shitting himself
not
that
you saying
entire
you want to
wedding.
be a fatherly figure.
A fatherly
like
figure?
what?
That's a big jump to be like, to a single mom, to be like, hey, I get it, y'all are a package deal, but I love you so much that like I'll be your baby daddy. That's a big deal.
He was rocking the dock, going home, found some chonies.
Had himself a lineup. I mean, the time and place. Everybody, you know, if you're friends with benefits, I mean, I guess that you can't be upset if they're
wanna know what happened
hooking up
after
with other
that,
people.
like-
Like, did you confront him?
Did he ever say anything else?
Did he ever say anything? Like, oh,
Oh.
what do you
And
say at
the
that
fact
point?
that she knew they weren't her panties too, like
Oh, I would have known if they weren't my panties. I can account for every panty I have.
that's kind of true.
I would know,
I don't
especially
really-
if it's not mine. I'd be like, I ain't never seen them motherfucking panties.
If I was rocking the dock, I probably would be none. So
Commando,
commando.
balls out.
Whose are those? I didn't wear them.
That would have been
my God.
awesome.
That was
would've
so
been awesome.
fun.
Yeah, that's fun. Please send
Please
more
send
of those
more.
in. I love them, and I don't even care if they're mom related.
They can be anything. Mom related. They can be
Literally
dating. They
dating.
can be.
I want to hear everything about your kids. We know that they smear shit on the walls. It's okay.
We have an array of knowledge.
Yeah.
What's that? She's
been
the
there.
man. I got a lifetime of knowledge. Do you know that movie? Someone's gonna know that movie. She's the man. I love
I know
it.
that movie.
Got a lifetime of knowledge.
Of course, I know that movie.
She didn't know the
What-
quote.
I don't know the quote. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. That's the one where Amanda Bynes puts
Yeah.
tampons up her nose.
Yeah.
Her nose
Channing
bleeds.
Tatum wasn't it?
Oh yeah, Channing Tatum. God, he was so hot when we were younger. Now, you know, now he doesn't do it for me so much. I think it's because he broke up with Jenna.
Yeah,
There's
I
something
loved
about
it.
it.
I
I
loved
loved them together. It was Step Up. That's what did it. It was when they were dancing together. Oh, so good.
So good.
Now
Bring her
he's
back.
with
No idea.
Zoe Kravitz. Is that her name?
Oh, she's gorgeous. So
Lenny
that's who it
Kravitz?
is.
She's beautiful. She's gorgeous, but yeah, he just doesn't do it for me anymore. Maybe I just need him to dance. That's what it was. It was whenever he was in Step Up. He was so attractive. What man isn't attractive though? Whenever they're dancing,
That's true.
I love a man that can dance and that's not afraid to. Because I feel like guys don't like to dance very much.
No.
Like girls are always the ones like, let's go out dancing. If your man grabs you and wants to dance with you, that is sexy.
We doing the rock the dock. That's all I'm gonna say.
Not if you're Cyndi, you want panties on.
Not some.
Hey, listen.
Not some
when
beige
you got,
ones.
When you got, that's the truth. Who wears? I'm not wearing beige panties.
No.
And when you
Were they white and then beige? Come on, I'm done.
that's just an unfortunate. And then to think that you left those behind. Someone dedicated to leave those
Literally.
behind. If I'm leaving undies, they're like sprayed with perfume, lacy,
Maybe someone
gorgeous.
was trying to catch him up, though.
Maybe she was like, "Hey, girl."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like she was
If
trying to
you're
help
rocking
her?
the dock, I'm wearing something better than that.
Like literally. At that point, those are comfort panties. That's somebody you've been fucking a long time.
Look at Ben.
Ben.
Ben behind
I
the
wish we
camera.
had a camera on
I
Ben.
know, we need a
Ben's
third
face
camera.
is shook at all times.
I think it probably just indicates that they've been doing that a long time.
That's what I was
know.
thinking.
If you're in the ugly underwear phase, you've been fucking a long
Literally.
time.
Yeah, because the ugly
I
underwear.
didn't
Is
fuck
like,
my husband in ugly underwear. Okay.
that's why I said commando. We're married.
Listen, when you got thick hips and a big booty, underwear suck. They suck.
Amen. Amen.
The ugly underwear stage. When does that switch, you guys?
Yeah,
When
what
do you
point
change
do you
from
go?
sexy underwear to ugly underwear?
It's when you have a baby and they put you in a diaper.
And then you're like, oh, these underwear are comfortable.
These are so much better.
These high-waisted panties? Yes.
I ain't got no
I ain't never
ingrowns
going
or
back.
nothing.
I ain't going back to anything. That's like the moms who have the nursing bras after like 7 years.
I
Still.
dead ass have one on right now.
And she
Right
won't have
now.
it on for the next 3 years.
Better believe it. Holding these titties up.
Oh my
My
God.
God, that's another thing that sucks about motherhood, y'all. Why are your tits gotta sag so low? I feel like it's bullshit.
Like
okay,
flatness.
literally, like I can lift them like the skin. No, literally, actually though, I think it's bullshit because you have to go through like all of that with
my
motherhood,
God.
right? Like so much. I think we should get to keep the tits that come with breastfeeding. I feel like that's my best boob era ever is full of milk. Maybe that's just, whatever. But
We don't.
they just look so much better than they ever
No,
have.
they
And I
become
know they're about
deflated.
to deflate. Like,
Deflate.
yeah, and I'm just not very excited about it. Sag like old men's balls.
Literally, our titties drop, their balls.
Yeah,
drop.
when you see me out here getting my boobs redone, I don't want to hear a thing, okay?
Just know if her boobs are done, Mark's kidney is done.
In my dreams, do they do ball sack rejuvenation?
Probably. Someone's going to be like, yeah, my
they
husband
do
got
something
it.
for everything nowadays. They will literally fix. Look, Ben's
Ben's looking
Googling
it
it.
up.
He's literally
Ball sack
saving the
rejuvenation.
number for later.
Oh my
Listen,
God.
if I could talk my husband into getting a vasectomy,
Oh,
would
he's
be
going to
good.
tell us.
All right,
does it
ladies
say?
and gentlemen. Scrotal rejuvenation. We have a
Tell me there's before and after pictures.
so we have an actual paper published in the National Library of
Oh,
Medicine.
so it's legit.
Okay. Genital rejuvenation. I want to first give a shout out to let's see who
Cite your source.
I want to cite
Please
my
do.
source. I believe the author is Philip R. Cohen.
All right, Philip.
Shout out, Philip.
Shut up.
Genital rejuvenation is applicable not only to women, but also to men. Scrotal rejuvenation. There is an increased awareness reflected by the number of published medical papers of vaginal rejuvenation. However, rejuvenation of the scrotum has not received similar attention in the medical literature. Scrotal rejuvenation includes treatment of hair-associated scrotal changes, alopecia, hypertrichosis, morphology-associated scrotal changes such as wrinkling and laxity, and vascular-associated scrotal changes. What the fuck is this word? Angiokeratomas. So rejuvenation of the scrotum
fact that you
potentially
just
may
pronounced
utilize medical therapy such as topical
Literally.
minoxidil
We just got
or
a whole history
oral
lesson.
finasteride for scrotal alopecia.
Oral.
There's a whole, well, it's a medicine that you take orally.
No.
I was like, what type of oral medicine
So
are
the
you
interest in
giving?
scrotal rejuvenation is likely to increase as men and their physicians become aware. So as saggy balls continue to happen, we will get the support needed to
You're-
keep these sacs tight
I love it.
and high.
Could you
I
imagine
expect nothing less.
your wife has to put the oral on?
Oh, look, here's a plastic surgeon. Testicle enhancement. Can you get like three or four?
I've learned way too much about the scrotum just
Wow.
now.
No, this is I thought
Thank
this
you,
was
Ben.
a mom's podcast.
I mean, we became moms from one reason.
We just helped
Ladies,
every
talk
woman.
to your man about scrotal rejuvenation today.
Sponsored by Moms the Word.
They're gonna be like, so I found out.
On this podcast I was listening to earlier, I found out like you could make your ball sack not so hideous. Why are they so ugly?
Like, I heard it hit the water in the toilet. Maybe, just maybe we can go up an inch. Oh my God.
the things
what
I'll
the-
never have to worry about, thank goodness.
What just happened?
The direction that this took. So my child has
I put a
autism.
I put a marker in it so we
And
can pull it.
Mark is getting.
My child has autism and ball sack rejuvenation.
It's coming Mark's way.
exists. Welcome to my life.
I cannot.
That's what this podcast is, though.
Normal.
This is real life. This is what happens, though, in my day. Sad shit happens and happy shit happens.
That's right.
We're all over the place, and that's just the way that it is.
That's how we are during the day, though.
Oh my God, literally, Cyndi would be like, are you okay? And I'd be like, I'm having the best day ever. And 30 minutes later, she's like, it is a good day. And I'm like, it's the worst day. I'm falling apart.
Oh, this was another great episode.
That's
I love
life.
it. I love laughing.
I love being together. We have a lot of fun together.
We do. That was so fun. Thank you so much for sharing that personal part of you and your beautiful boy.
He is
Your
beautiful.
beautiful family.
And if any of you say anything bad about him, I will punch you in
Same.
the throat.
I'm nice.
That's
Not
just the
that
way
nice.
that
I'm
it
just
is.
kidding.
I'm not that nice.
Someone the other day said, Cyndi is not actually. No, I'm so glad that Cyndi has Paige because Cindy's so nice. And I'm like, I'm glad y'all feel that way.
No,
You're right. I am so nice.
lie again. Cyndi will pop off.
Yeah, I just don't like to. Like, I don't want to be mean.
None of us do.
But
Well,
best
some of us.
believe
Yeah, you mess with
Your
the
girl's
right
got
ones.
it in me.
It's within me. She's a Gemini. I told you all that, right?
Oh, yeah, she doesn't like to tell people that.
Yeah, she's mean.
I'm the good Gemini.
She's not here to play.
No.
Yeah, that's the truth. I think we're just
Let
both
it be known.
super protective. Yeah,
Can't even
fuck around and find out.
let it be known.
She will though. If
Yeah, I will. Ben's even looking at me like I'm not.
Ben is the meanest one out of all of us.
Yeah.
Ben is constantly abusing us both.
And by abusing,
Can
making
we
Paige,
please not perpetuate that narrative?
by making Paige pick her mic up and talking to it.
Constantly yelling at me.
Please don't perpetuate the narrative.
We would never. You guys, Ben is
We
great.
would never.
We love
Ben.
Ben.
Is perfect.
I'm just Ben.
Oh God, here he goes. No, he
He's the
doesn't
best.
abuse us. He does just yell at me a lot and threaten to fire me because I lost my camera.
But we are thankful for Ben, you guys.
So thankful.
He makes us look really great.
Everything that you do.
Yeah, Ben, thank
These
you so
fancy
much.
cameras that you give us, this amazing lighting. You're just top tier.
I know. I guess I'm the executive producer of Mom's the Word.
You
Somebody
are.
said that today. I like
You
that ring
are.
too. I'm gonna
You
put that on my
are.
LinkedIn profile.
You
You
should.
should.
I don't know if you know this, but we are number 2 in all of family and parenting podcasts on Apple Podcast. Number 2.
We should be
Landed us.
number 1, so I need everybody to show up, start sharing this podcast. If we are
Y'all
not
heard him.
number 1 by next
Y'all heard him.
episode, you don't want to know
Send it to your
what's going to
mom
happen.
because ball rejuvenation. I don't want to tell you about your dad, but
Your dad deserves a fresh sack. Okay?
oh goodness, I
Oh
loved
my
this so
Too
much.
much fun.
Thanks for
It's too
talking
much fun.
with me.
Yeah, of
Always.
course. Always. I'll see you back here in a couple weeks. Yeah.
Yep.
Do more. Are you ready, Ben?
Oh, this was such a good episode.
It was. It was good.
Shared
It's
a lot,
good to
laughed
get
a
it
lot.
off.
Had a story. Send those in more.
Yeah, please send those in more. We have a good time.
Yes. If you're not following us on all social media platforms at Mom's the Word Podcast, we would love that. Go to YouTube. We're hilarious over there.
You can see our faces. And as always,
Keep the giggles going.
and the love flowing.
And until next time,
Mom knows best.
or at least she's trying her best.